So there's three basic things I want to invite you to encourage you to think about in terms of what's next for you and in terms of you and your faith. First and foremost, please recognize that and realize that God wants to use you. And you're thinking, oh, no. God's got saints, God's got priests and nuns, God's got youth ministers. Okay, does not need me. Does not need me at all. Okay, which is actually not true. God has a whole history of using a whole bunch of people we would not imagine or perceive as being people that God would use. In the Old Testament, God uses cowards. That was Gideon. God uses murderers. That was Moses. God used those who believed they couldn't speak. It was Moses again. God uses drunks. That's Noah. God uses liars. That's Jacob. God uses widows. God uses teenagers. King David. God uses the sick. Lots of miracles going on there. God uses the wedding. We just talked about that. And God even uses a dead guy, his friend Lazarus, who had died. He offers a miracle to Lazarus to teach and to provide more information about who God is involved with. So God really wants to use you. God's given you gifts. God's given you talents. God's given you the ability to imagine and dream. God wants to collaborate and work with you. And God wants to engage you in helping to bring about the reign of God to us all. You're going to do that. Number two, you got to listen to the voice of Jesus. So going back to that first video, that's where my error was. I know it was dark. I know it was foggy. I know it was rainy. But when I got back onto the interstate, there was all sorts of signs saying I-95 north or I-95 south. Now, there's only one difference between south and north, and that's the letter N or S. But I should have been able to read that. I had a Waze thing on my phone. I should have been listening to my directions. I was not doing any of that. I was being a little bit arrogant and thinking, I've been on this interstate before. I got this figured out. I know what border I should be going to. And I was wrong. I was just out and out wrong because I wasn't listening to the knowledgeable voices around me. Okay, if you are asking yourself, what's next? Are you listening to the voice of God? Are you listening to the voice of Jesus? Okay, and take a look at the scriptures. Open yourself up in prayer. Make your prayer more about listening than speaking. Listen to the voice of Jesus. And then finally, recognize there's work to be done. Not only recognize that you're the one who can be doing the work, but recognize that there's work to be done. This is not a perfect world. This is far from a perfect world. What can you do? What can we do to help make this a better world? How can we contribute towards creation and make this a world that makes a difference for us all? So I'm sorry, there was a pause that I wasn't able to edit out, but there it is. Three things, okay? Take a look at it. Realize that God wants to use you. Listen to the voice of Jesus and recognize there's some work that you've been given the gift and the talent and the abilities to do. And so, what's next? I don't know what that is for you, but get to it. Get to it.